Hi. So this is the first time I'm attempting to go live from this new channel. And I figured I'd try a new angle, but the new angle just looks junky because you can see all my books and everything in the background. And then, of course, most of the letters have fallen off the wall. So, you know. So keep in mind, I tried to post something in the announcements channel on Discord to let you guys know that this will absolutely be a lot different from the live streams we are accustomed to on my previous channel. My previous channel, while I had a very small platform, whenever I would go live, we would have up to 100 people at times in the live streams. And people enjoyed that, you know, because there were a lot of people to interact with. There were new people to get to know. And that was the large draw to those live streams, the community. We no longer have that community. Unfortunately, that comes about as a result of Edwin's generation and his fraudulent use of YouTube's faulty complaint filing system. Now, in this stream, I would like to attempt to do what I attempted to do yesterday. You remember, I couldn't keep a connection to save the life of me, so I gave up. But I would like to take this opportunity to talk a little to Hello Leesh because I was made aware that they're currently having drama with Edwin. Really quickly, another reason I opted to do this from this angle is because I am 2 feet closer to the Wi-Fi modem than I was previously. So I'm hoping that'll help with connectivity issues. And I also have my door open. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Can Wi-Fi go through doors? This is the time of night at which the cats are amped up. So you're going to hear them playing and doing whatever cats do. But yeah, there's going to be a much smaller audience. That's okay. That's fine. That comes about as a result of having to remove one channel from the public access and use a new channel. It happens, unfortunately. And, you know, it definitely shouldn't happen, but it does happen when you're doing commentary on a problematic content creator. And said problematic content creator knows that there are different abilities and powers that have been afforded to him by YouTube. And simply because his feelings have been hurt, he can take someone's channel from them. Now, keep in mind, this channel also isn't monetized. So I don't know. I don't know if people are going to be recommended this video or not. I very much forget how YouTube works, especially in the very beginnings. But even if I'm just sitting here talking to myself and there's no one posting in the chat, that's fine. You know, that's so fine, because what I intend on doing is leaving this live stream up for people to view after the fact, if anyone just so happens to want to view it. And keep in mind, because this is a live stream, there are no jump cuts. There are none of that. So whenever there are lulls in the conversation, you're very much going to be experiencing that. Maybe I can edit it down after the stream is ended, but while it's live, it's live. Hey, Gata, I definitely appreciate you being here. Definitely. Also, I think it kind of puts a damper on things that I went live much later than I typically do, you know, because I hadn't been getting much sleep because I've been really stressed out with like real life issues and they've been keeping me up. Well, ultimately, I ended up crashing sometime in the early morning and I slept all day. And then when I woke up, I watched the new Wrong Turn movie with my dad, and that is such a good movie. You should definitely watch it. They took a departure from the usual evildoer in the Wrong Turn movie, and it was very much like sort of like a commune was the evildoer, the wrongdoer, the evil guys. But it was definitely interesting. It was definitely entertaining. I definitely recommend that movie if you can handle the violence and the gore. Hey, Azul, thank you for being here. The connection definitely does seem to be more stable now that I am 2 feet closer to the Wi-Fi modem. Fingers crossed. So give me 1 second, guys, while I try to pull up some images that are going to be useful in the conversation I'd like to have. 1 second, y'all. Bear with me. I'm boring. You know this. Nothing's going to change just because we're on a new channel. It's going to be more boring, in fact. 1 second, y'all. I'm looking for one last thing that I want to pull up. So we may experience a few connectivity issues now because I am currently downloading some items from the iCloud. So bear with me. I should have taken the time to prepare for this live stream before just choosing to go live, but you know me. You know that's not what we do here. We don't do that. All right, so I have several video clips and screenshots downloading from the iCloud, so definitely bear with me. I lost my connection. I'm hoping the connection issues go away once these items are done downloading from the iCloud, so bear with me. Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here, Bethany. Thank you, Azul. Thank you, Gata. Thank you, Blazy Susan. Thank you. I really do enjoy seeing regular faces from the old channel on the new channel because it is an inconvenience for you guys to have to search up this new channel. I know it. Trust me, I know. But I appreciate you guys. It's still downloading. My computer's being slow. I do apologize. Now, the whole purpose and intention of doing this live stream is to not only take a look at the back and forth that occurred between Edwin and Hello Leesh on Twitter, but to talk a little bit about what I've experienced in my back and forth with Edwin, the Goon Squads, and the Stands. Because unfortunately, I don't believe that that experience is unique to me. I think anyone who speaks out against Edwin is going to have the same experience. I think it was unique for me in the sense that I kept it going because I wasn't going to give up. And some things did occur that I don't believe other content creators have experienced when talking about Edwin because they usually give up. But I don't understand why we should give up and why he should be treated any differently than any other problematic or dishonest person on the platform. If the purpose of commentary is to discuss these various ways in which this person has been problematic or dishonest or wrong, or the various ways in which they've hurt people, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to give you preferential treatment simply because you've got hundreds of thousands of people fooled. I'm not going to give you preferential treatment. The whole purpose is to look behind what it is these people are saying and get down to the facts and the reality of what it is that has occurred and then present the real world truth to an audience. That's the whole purpose. So I'm not going to stop simply because you say, oh, it's cool. That doesn't make it cool. What did you actually do? That's what I'm here to tell the world. Okay, so one of them just finished downloading. Why is... Okay, that confused me, sorry. So what I would like to do first is talk about these images if I still have a connection. Now, when you are someone who decides to do commentary on Edwin's generation and the various ways in which he's been a problem, you can talk about his racism, you can talk about the victim complex, because he uses that victim complex as a weapon. And with that victim complex, he gets out of taking responsibility for his words, his actions, his choices, and his behaviors, and simultaneously has another outside source, whether that be another person or just some other force in reality, take the blame and the responsibility for his words, his choices, his actions. That victim complex is what all of this is about. That victim complex is what caused him... Hang on, I lost my connection. Yeah. What channel? The Audacity. Well, it's going to be crappy because I keep losing my internet connection and I don't know what to do about that. I've already done it. So this is what was aggravating me last night. I kept getting interrupted with losing my internet connection and I kept losing my train of thought. And unfortunately, I just lost my train of thought again. But he's definitely one to use that victim complex to his advantage. I think that very early on, he realized that he could lie about his wrongdoing and make himself a victim and be viewed sympathetically and favorably by his audience, thus mitigating the chances of cancellation. I think that is honestly why he decided to lie and cover up his wrongdoing in that apartment and make those two innocent people villains. Yeah, they definitely did things in reacting to his lies that they shouldn't have done, but at that point, they were retaliating against his bold-faced lies. Now, where this comes into play is whether or not the drama between him and this content creator, Hello Leesh, is real or valid. He only knows how to react in one way, and that's the victim complex way. And I've already seen it come out to play in regards to Hello Leesh, right? So she's definitely going to be feeling the victim complex. Now, Edwin likes to think that in the ways in which he's responding, he can be as problematic as he wants because he's quote unquote defending himself. But what he's defending himself against here is people asking him to take accountability for his behavior. You know? You know? Now, that's also the way in which he excuses filing fraudulent copyright takedown notices with YouTube's faulty filing system. And I'm going to bring up a few of those because this is definitely what Hello Leesh has to look forward to if she decides to pursue commentary on Edwin. When you can go so low down as to not only violate the personal boundaries put in place by your best friend and violate the boundaries of his relationship and then lie about it after the fact, you have no morals and you have no integrity, and you've proven that. You've also proven that as someone who relies on fair use in your content, he's been reacting to a lot of Gabby Hanna lately. You've proven you have no morality and no integrity because when it comes to you, fair use applies. But when it comes to someone else doing commentary on you, fair use doesn't exist. And I don't understand that mentality. But then again, I have a backbone. So he has filed 2 fraudulent copyright takedown notices against my channel, which is why my channel is no longer available to the public. Ultimately, I had to hide my channel. My channel was monetized, but I would be lucky to make over $100 a month. And you know that YouTube doesn't pay out unless you make over $100. I was averaging $130 a month. I would make a little more than that on a good month. But what's important here is because I am between jobs, that money was absolutely necessary to help me pay for my monthly doctor visit, which is absolutely essential because I am unfortunately in poor health. Now, because Edwin is so weak, he could not handle the commentary I was doing on him. And so he resulted to using varieties, like I can't even talk. He resulted to using a variety of complaint filing features afforded to him by YouTube to silence the person doing commentary on how he's been problematic, on his racism, on his lies, his dishonesty, and everything. Because the problem isn't that Edwin lied or was racist. The problem is the person doing commentary on it, right? That's how his mind works. That's how the victim complex works. So he filed this one, and I can only assume that he had hoped that this would be 2 takedown notices, but it was only 1. And he took down 2 live streams that were absolutely fair use because I was using his content in a transformative way. There were stops, there were breaks, there were pauses. I was commenting. It was definitely transformative, and it was for the purposes of commenting. Same with this stream. Now, he chose to file a fraudulent takedown notice against this stream, Edwin's Generation Out's LGBT Girlfriend, because he was going to upload a video 2 days later in which he would lie about the contents of that conversation, which I've already exemplified that he lied about that after taking the stream down. He chose to take this one down because in that same video, he would go on to make the claim that I had doxed him, and this stream contained evidence of the fact that he had put his real name out there and had it out there for 9 years. 2 days prior to him uploading the video in which he made the claim that I doxed him, he took that video down, but it had been up and it had been public for 9 years. He took this one down because this is me giving a realistic, real-world reaction to the very first receipt video he created against Seer and Dasha. Now, he took this down because it was a bad look. I proved that absolutely none of the screenshots that he utilized in that video proved anything. None of them backed up any of the accusations he was making against Seer and Dasha. And I proved with other sources, as well as just me doing my commentary, that he was not making real-world accusations. What he was doing was complaining that a man was maturing and spending time with his partners rather than him. His overarching complaint was Seer didn't spend time with me. Seer, Mina, and Dasha spent time in their room because they were in a consenting polyamorous relationship and I was alone. That's what he made himself a victim of. That is how he ruined the online reputations of 2 innocent people, and it's not okay. So those are the fraudulent takedown notices he's issued against me. This is just the email I got from the first 2 copyright takedown notices. Now, this is the privacy complaint that he filed against my live stream in which I proved that it wasn't revenge porn. Now, he had made an accusation against Dasha, and this is another way in which he sympathy baits his audience, right? He made an accusation against Dasha and tried to claim that she had committed the crime of revenge porn. He presented an image that had a big pink block of, I don't know, kind of like this red thing here, except it was a big pink block covering Mina's body from the shoulders down. And he states, she's naked in this. This is a crime. This is serious. Well, I found the original image and Mina was not nude. She was covering herself and nothing was visible. Now, also in the time frame in which he chose to do this, between the years of 2015 and 2017, Mina had uploaded hundreds of full frontal nude images to her public Twitter account. That's fine. That's her choice. But you can't then falsely edit an image and falsely present it to your audience as being evidence of revenge porn when, in fact, she's covered in that image and nothing is visible. Nothing is visible. And if you wanted to see everything anyway, you could go on over to her public Twitter account and see full frontal nude images where you could see everything. It's not revenge porn. But because I found the original image, which, by the way, is so tame and she's so covered, it would not violate the no nudity policy of any website because she was absolutely covered. Therefore, it is not revenge porn. But because I found the original image and I proved that he had falsely edited that image and lied to his audience in presenting that image as evidence of a crime, he decided to file a privacy complaint against that stream and have it removed. Now, the day prior to filing the privacy complaint, he had gone through her Twitter account and deleted every tweet that she made from 2014 to late 2017. If you go back and scroll all the way down now, the first tweet is from October of 2017 because he deleted every post that she had made from 2014 to late 2017 because that was the time frame in which she was posting full frontal nude images. And not only that, that was the time frame in which she posted several of the images that Edwin tried to use to say that Dasha had committed the crime and gotten these images an illicit way off of our camera roll, when that wasn't the case. They were posted to her public Twitter account. But of course, to cover his tracks so that he could later claim that I was lying, he used the tweet delete app and deleted en masse every tweet made in that time frame. That's how snaky he is, just like he privated those videos before claiming that I doxed him. Never mind that that video had been up in public for view for 9 years. Now, these are the first two streams that he issued a privacy complaint against. These are the two streams in which I reacted to the DMs that were allegedly leaked when he was allegedly hacked. I don't believe that he was hacked. You know my views on that, right? Right. Now, this went nowhere because I was able to prove that another content creator had streamed these DMs a full 24 hours prior to me doing my stream with these DMs. They were already made available to the public, and that person left their stream publicly available for a good month before Diorio and Tippy forced him to private it. So the idea that I violated his privacy is absolutely comical because, well, someone had already made them available to the public prior to me getting them. And not only that, they contacted you and asked you for comment, and instead of asking them not to do the stream, you helped them create a more appealing thumbnail. The audacity. So these two streams are still on my channel. But this was the first attempt he made at utilizing YouTube's faulty, fraudulent complaint system against me. Now, this is another complaint that I received on my previous channel. You can see the title of the stream in question was Birthday Stream, Big Announcement, Edwin's Generation, something. I can't remember the full title, but Edwin was only a topic of conversation for 5 minutes because a user asked me a question and I responded in a very tame way. The rest of the stream, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours. The rest of the stream was about my birthday, the connection with a certain Hindu holiday, because I'm a very spiritual person. And the fact that I had that outbuilding completed, that was the entirety of the stream. But just to be petty, just to be vengeful, just to be spiteful, he filed this false privacy complaint or this false harassment complaint. Now, I do know, even though you aren't notified as to who the person is who files the complaints, I know that he's the one who's been filing them because Tipster admitted that he filed the first two privacy complaints. And then Edwin admitted that, quote unquote, Mina filed the other one. She did not. She did not. You did it because you're the ringleader. You're the one telling the lies and crafting the narrative. And I find it very hard to believe that someone who's been posting full frontal nude images for a decade has a problem with someone showing a photo of them in which they're completely covered. Now, he likes to elicit sympathy from his audience by making the claim that I have been showing images of Mina nude when that can't be farther from the truth. Like, when compiling my list of evidence against him on Twitter, he filed a complaint against my Twitter posts, and I lost my Twitter account, or it's still an appeal or whatever, but I doubt I ever get it again, because he's claiming that I'm using these images, even though they're no longer public, even though they are still publicly available on Twitter. I could very easily have just hit retweet and retweeted the images for the purposes of my evidence thread against him, but I chose instead to save the image and edit it and upload it that way to Twitter because I wanted to be able to censor the bits and bobs because I'm a homo and I don't care about the bits and bobs. All I cared about was proving that she was posting these types of images, so therefore an image in which she's covered is not revenge porn. Not once have I ever shown an image of Mina that wasn't censored, but there's plenty of them on Twitter. It's almost as if he doesn't understand that even though she deleted them from her timeline, they are still publicly hosted on Twitter. They still are. Now, he elicits sympathy that way, but here's the thing. The reason that I have no sympathy for them is because they have now accused a person of a very serious crime that person is not guilty of having committed. So if I can prove that you lied, that you fabricated evidence, I'm going to prove that, and I've proven it successfully. But in regards to the privacy complaints,
see, I wonder why. This is in regards to a privacy complaint that was filed by Edwin against Deity of YouTube, which we'll get into this in a second. But here's the thing.
Get into it all you want, Whopper. He still issued the false privacy complaint. He still went on to issue more false privacy complaints, false harassment complaints, and false copyright takedown notices. And your homegirl Ashley Lilly lied like hell, y'all. She lied. She made the statement that in a Twitter post to the public that I was sitting there watching his videos in silence. When have I ever done that? You know that when I'm doing commentary, this mouth does not stop running. You know how often I pause the video. This amounts to nothing more than a goonie getting caught up in his past lies, his past racism, his past behavior, and then the other goonies lying to protect him in the same way that they made a move to lie for Shannon. Shannon made a huge mistake in shutting down because these people absolutely would have helped her. They would have kept lying for her. All she had to do was let her victim complex kick in like Edwin.
These were filed against live streams that were covering his private DM conversations.
DMs that were streamed publicly 24 hours prior to me getting them by 3 different content creators. 3 different content creators. I think they were all in the same stream, but I do think one of them went and did a stream on his own, but I can't recall. Either way, there was still at least one stream in which these 3 people streamed these DMs prior to me getting them. Those people violated his privacy, and he was full aware that they were going to be doing so. I am not responsible for your privacy. I am not an employee of yours, and once something is made public, I am allowed to utilize it, and that is why the DMs, the streams containing the DMs, were never taken down. That is why when you started making these claims about me, I was able to pull up that live stream and prove that the Crow of Judgment had streamed them first, had come onto my channel to give me the context and to give me the DMs. But this is what Hello Leesh has to look forward to if she does intend on actually pursuing commentary against Edwin. First, he will utilize his stands against her by making different posts about her. At first, it'll definitely be in opposition to what she's doing, and it'll definitely come from this place of condescension and anger. But then after that, if she continues, he will start with his victim complex whining bullshit. Why is it always me? Why am I always questioned online? Well, it's because of your behavior. But instead of paying recognition of that fact, he will instead make those whiny posts and get his stands to antagonize and provoke Hello Leesh, which doesn't make anyone stop. It makes them continue, by the way, Edwin. Now, once that fails, then Nikki D, Augie RFC, Bo Blacks, Tippy, Ashley Lilly, they get involved and they start lying about the content creator in question. Once that fails, then it's up to those previously mentioned content creators and their stands to do Edwin's dirty work while his Department of Homeboy Security continues to provoke and antagonize said content creator. When that still doesn't work and you continue to do commentary on him, which is very rare, I think I'm the only one who's continued after that point. He will then take it upon himself to utilize YouTube's faulty complaint filing system to file fraudulent copyright takedown notices against your fair use content, or he'll file privacy complaints because in his mind, you proving that he's lied is somehow a violation of his privacy. And he will do that in an attempt to have your channel taken from you. The reason that I went ahead and pulled my channel so that it's no longer accessible to the public, and the reason that I'm using this new channel, which is not monetized and doesn't have a following, is because of the fact that one more copyright takedown notice issued fraudulently by a spineless person lacking in integrity who definitely utilizes fair use in his own streams, and I would have just been banned from YouTube simply because he can't handle commentary, simply because he's too weak. Now, the purposes of my commentary and everything that I've done on Edwin is to do commentary on a problematic person making problematic choices, being manipulative, being sneaky, being lying, being fraudulent, I suppose, but lying, being racist, being all manner of horrible thing. I would definitely do commentary on him in the same way that I've done commentary on other content creators. And I did. That's the whole purpose of commentary. In no way, shape, or form is he somehow privileged to rights that other content creators aren't given. I don't care that he's pretended to be a hero for the abuse, because that motherfucker sat in a stream with Augie and made jokes about my rape. He did that. And not only did he do that, but on more than one occasion has he made a joke about rape in general. So how is it that you believe that this person legitimately cares? He doesn't. He doesn't care because he can't empathize with people who have been victimized. And because he can't empathize, he's just doing performative activism to make some change, to make some coins. That's it. That is it. And once you start looking into the rabbit hole or crater that is Edwin's generation, you'll come to realize that he has been very problematic. He's told many lies that have directly victimized people, have robbed them of their online platforms. He has created sexually explicit, very vulgar content that he communicated was being created for the purposes of educating minors against what their school system and their parents have taught them. He's done all manner of horrendous things. He's been overtly, blatantly racist, and as recently as January of 2021, he's explained why he believes that he has the right to use racial slurs and to use the F slur against gay people. These aren't good people. This is a group of people who are doing their damnedest to lie for each other, to lend credibility to each other, to keep their standing in the commentary community so they keep making money, so they stay on top of the commentary community. Now, before we get into the back and forth that Hello Leesh had, I had thought to show a bit of the tweets that have been made about me and my sexuality, my past with addiction, my mental illness, like all manner of vulgar thing has been said about me simply because I was doing content on Edwin. Yes, I can't talk. Yes, at times I did insult Edwin. I did. Because I had this large content creator, his large content creator, Good Judy's, their stands, not only using faulty, fraudulent complaints against me to take my channel from me, but they were saying the most vicious shit about me. So why on earth would I balk at the concept of insulting him as well? I just wouldn't, and I didn't. But I really don't know that I'm going to show those tweets in this stream. I might. Let me see what I got. It used to say, so it used to be a haiku that was written by Jack Kerouac. It used to say planets are far apart so people can't bother each other. But as time has gone on, a lot of the letters have fallen off because they were just stuck up there with sticky tack. And I've just kind of thrown them away as they've fallen down. I meant to put something different up there, but I never did because I stopped using this room. I stopped sleeping in it. It was just used for storage, and that's why it's kind of a mess. But yeah. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta go between Google accounts real quick. Oh, wait. Backtrack. Of course, I told you, this is a live stream. Anything can happen, including mistakes. There was another clip that I wanted to show you all. Give me 1 second. Showed you that one. This is another clip of Tipster making a I keep losing my connection. I apologize. But this is another clip of Tipster making a just phenomenally insightful quote.
And this guy, who is a comedian and also a YouTuber, created several videos that were very critical of this politician and also made fun of him. And because of that, this person's basically trying to abuse their position to try and silence this individual, which is definitely not okay. And it's definitely something we should be speaking out against. I understand, he's in a different country and different countries have different freedom of speech laws. But even if the laws aren't the same as they are here in the United States, this is something we should still be speaking out against. And we should definitely, stand behind creators like this, or anyone really who's having their freedom of speech removed simply because somebody got their feelings hurt or something like that.
Did you guys hear that? Like, that was honestly a very interesting. statement made by Tipster. True enough, Tipster made that statement in response to some legal trouble that a certain comedian or YouTuber is having. But do you not see the similarities between that person's situation and the situation I have found myself in with Edwin? It's almost as if what I'm hearing Tipster say is, if it's not a friend of ours, we are able to be impartial and identify when someone is misusing their power. But simply because it is a Goon Squad member, simply because it's Edwin, these people are big mad that I have dared to do commentary on Poppy Edwin. That's the hypocrisy I'm highlighting. That's the hypocrisy I have been discussing. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Let's get to the video. Well, hey there, gal pal, and welcome to my channel. Yeah, it's me. You know who it is. People don't care, babe. So this is Ashley Lilly lying for Edwin. However, hang on. This will keep just of just dealing with a group of just fuck. I can't get it just right. People all have the same motivation. Social climber. So Ashley Lilly had made a tweet response to someone that reads, the fact that they are talking about Edwin striking a stream is hilarious because he wasn't using it under fair use. He was dead ass just sitting in silence watching Edwin's videos. Super fucking creepy. Now, I don't know about every single person watching this video. However, if you are watching this and you are familiar with the content that I do and you were there for the streams, you know without a shadow of a doubt that I was not sitting in silence watching Poppy Edwin's videos. This is nothing more than a blatant, dishonest move that this person is making in the attempts to convince the public that Edwin had every right to file a fraudulent copyright strike. That's it. This is a dishonest person continuing with her lies, basically. We saw in the Creepshow Art situation in which she outed herself. She posted a screenshot of a message she had sent to Shannon that said something along the lines of, we're all here ready, waiting to make this okay for you. Basically acknowledging the fact that she and the rest of the gal pals have a responsibility and they act like the PR team for each other, respectively. If you're a member of the Goon Squad, these people. Really quickly, before I let this continue playing, someone made the comment, he's got his nose so far up Dasha's ass. I've had one conversation with Dasha in which she gave me the evidence she had. After that conversation, I stopped responding to her. Why? Because I don't respond to private messages. I just don't. Not only that, I had everything I needed to continue my commentary on Edwin. I stopped responding to Dasha. I took it upon myself to watch the content that was uploaded by Edwin at that time period to catch him in multiple dishonest statements, multiple discrepancies, and multiple instances of hypocrisy. I took it upon myself to dig further after being prompted to do so by Dasha's initial message. But after that, babe, I haven't spoken with Dasha. We're not best friends. We're not good Judies. I simply think it's sad that to this day, people are so ready to believe the worst about her simply because of lies that Edwin made. That is a horrible injustice. Will not hesitate to lie for you. She put it out there publicly for the world to see. That is very much a perk to being a member of the Goon Squad, to being a friend of theirs. This is blatant dishonesty. This is a lie. There may have been a moment or two in reacting to Edwin's content in which I wasn't speaking, but I mean, shit, if you're reacting to someone's content, you kind of have to let the content play to then react to it, right? I would also like to know, Ashley Lilly, was it super creepy for Edwin to do a 14-hour plus live stream reacting to Onision's content? Was he speaking the entire time, or did he also... Or how about recently, Ashley Lilly, recently? Has it been creepy for Edwin to do 2 live streams recently that were about 12 hours long in which he's reacting solely to Gabby Hanna's video? Was that creepy? Huh. Why is fair use only applicable to you and yours? Why? But we'll talk about her hypocrisy and her dishonesty a little more. Because she is a hell of a liar. Allow time for the clips to play. Why is it different for me and different for Edwin? It's mighty convenient that there's a difference there depending upon who has helped you build your platform. Point blank period. You're being dishonest and you are lying because Edwin has helped you build your platform and you are a social climber. Your loyalties lie with the individual who has helped you the most. Not only that, but her loyalties definitely lie with the person who has the higher subscriber Why can't I talk? Why is English so hard? Her loyalties definitely lie with the individual who has the higher subscriber count. So wait until someone with a higher subscriber count comes along and swoops her up. She's going to be telling all the tea on Poppy E.
I love you, Edwin. You never in a million years have to ever worry about me being upset by some type of association. I can't fucking speak. Association with you, because you have done more for me and all of this than anybody else.
Me.
Has. And I mean that with my entire fucking heart.
Edwin, it doesn't matter that you mocked another survivor's abuse. It doesn't matter that you discredited another survivor's abuse without knowing the full facts of the situation or doing your research and seeing the additional blog entry that was made after the second time the relationship ended. It doesn't matter to me, Edwin. It doesn't matter that you discounted the possibility of someone being in a very mentally vulnerable, unstable space in which they were contemplating no longer existing. It doesn't matter, Edwin. It doesn't matter that you laughed and scoffed at the loss of a person's baby. It doesn't matter to me, Edwin. It doesn't matter to me that you involved yourself in that drama in which you had no business being involved in just to make a few bucks, Edwin. It doesn't matter because you helped me build my platform and you got me a head start and now I'm making money just like you, Edwin. It doesn't matter. Me, Edwin, me. I excuse how you treat everyone else, Edwin, because it's me. I'm the biggest victim. I'm even the victim of Creepshow Art, even though I was only ever friends with her and only ever had positive experiences with her. I speak for her victims, Edwin, me.
Like, I get so upset when things like this happen because you have been like the one person who has just been there consistently through anything. You helped me speak when nobody else, it felt like nobody else was willing to listen anymore. You helped me get that out there. Like, you never have to worry about that, ever. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
No, like for real. I mean it with my entire fucking heart. Like,
Edwin, it doesn't matter that you're friends with Nikki D, who makes rape jokes. It doesn't matter that you're friends with Augie RFC, who makes rape jokes, who makes false allegations against people with no evidence. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you make rape jokes, Edwin, because I am special in your eyes, because I speak for you and I lie for you and I do anything you need me to do. And therefore, you making jokes about rape and sexual assault doesn't impact me.
You have had so much faith in me. You've helped me. You've done so much for me and for so many other people.
Like, it's comical to me that she would be so blatantly, publicly dishonest when her entire backstory, right, is I'm this person who's had this horrible experience and I can only ask you all to believe me when I'm talking about that experience. So she has to rely on not only her good word, her ability to tell the truth, but she also has to rely on the public's ability to believe what it is she's saying. Exactly. And now that she's proven that she's a liar, I don't know. I'll be right back. Really quickly, while I'm thinking about it, hello, Leesh. So the whole thing with Edwin's victim complex is sympathy bait your way out of it. Everything. It never matters what he's guilty of because he can sympathy bait his way out of it. You know, in the video about me, he starts it by talking about how these producers were responsible for everything that happened, even his emotional well-being in the live streams that took place after episode 1 of the Onision documentary was released. He's blaming everything on these producers, even his emotional well-being, when they were done with him sometime in October when he submitted his portion for the documentary. So what we constantly see from him is this like bid to put all of the blame and all of the responsibility on other people. It's always other people. It's never him. And that's how he gets out of things. So he was really quick to mischaracterize the content that I did by reacting to his public content and proving that he had lied by saying that I was stalking him, that I was harassing him, and that it was somehow abuse. And so he was able to use those labels to sympathy bait his audience. He was able to use those buzzwords to elicit a sympathetic response. So at that point, what he had done never even mattered, because I wasn't just doing commentary on his mistakes, his horrible actions. No, at that point, it was something nefarious. I lost my connection. So anytime anyone does commentary on something he's lied about or something he's done, it's automatically abusive, it's automatically harassment. And he uses those buzzwords to elicit certain responses from his audience. So if he can get his audience to view him sympathetically as being a victim of this commentary, then it doesn't matter what he's done, it doesn't matter what he's guilty of. Because now they're on the defensive to protect their sweet baby angel Edwin. His victim complex is very tricky, and he uses it to manipulate his audience and his friends. Why are you snorting like that? When I see her being so blatantly dishonest, it just makes me wonder. And let me go ahead and state, because I know what her response would be. This has nothing to do with the fact that you chose to speak about your past with whoever on Edwin's channel. The same thing isn't being said about Regina, because Regina told her story on his channel and dipped out. She didn't hang around and exhibit social climbing behaviors. She didn't. Now, I want you to look at this tweet. Look at how blatantly dishonest these people are. Obviously, you, the thousands of people who have seen my coverage of Edwin, you know that I was doing commentary. You know. But look at how blatantly dishonest she's being. Simply because it's in her best interest to discredit me, lend credibility to Edwin's name, and therefore completely misguide. Also, did you notice how in the tweet about me in which she lied, what she chose to do was lend credibility to Poppy Edwin's lie about me, in which he's now convincing these people that I'm his stalker and that I'm obsessed and that I'm harassing him. So she literally lied and stated that I was watching his videos silently. How creepy is that? So in her tweet, not only is she lying to make it okay that he issued this false copyright takedown notice, but she's doubling down and lending credibility to the lies that he's told about me, and basically lending credibility to his victimization, his victim complex, because it's by victimizing himself and eliciting sympathy that he keeps people from taking it seriously when he's absolutely called out for things that he has truly factually done. The public, that's exactly what they're doing here. Not only would they utilize the faulty system created by YouTube to take down the evidence that I've reported on, but then they would go ahead and make their rounds and try to convince everyone that nothing credible could be found here on my channel, that I'm just a stalker, sis. Make it make sense. Was Edwin a stalker when he was reacting to 14 plus hours of Onision content? Or how about 12 hours of Gabby Hanna's videos? A stalker when he made 20, 30 plus videos on Dasha. And there are so many examples. He lied in those videos as well. Was Edwin a stalker when he went on these lengthy rants about Shiloh in various live streams? No, no. And they know that. Realistically and intelligently, they know that. They know that someone reacting to public content does not make them a stalker. What we are seeing here is the fact that these goonies, they cannot contend or deal with the receipts. So instead, they are going to attempt to discredit me as a human being. Not only that, but it's in their best interest for that evidence not to be available publicly. So they're going to get rid of it, and they have. Now, in the past, Edwin has also dealt with copyright strikes that he would argue were fraudulent, thus indicating that he knows what fair use is. Not only that, but there have been instances in which, if you ask me, Dasha was well within her rights to file complaints against his channel, although he sat there and he cried at the prospect of losing his channel.
However, today I woke up and I looked through my channel and I found that.
So keep in mind that I have already shown you the evidence that states that Edwin fabricated that entire narrative simply to keep what he had done to that best friend of 8 years a secret. Because if he's being viewed as a victim, he's being viewed sympathetically, he's being viewed favorably, he's being viewed by these people who believe they now have to defend Edwin. So therefore, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These people are evil liars and we have to defend Edwin. That is why he chose to do this to Seer and Dasha. Dasha was well within her right to report his videos for harassment because he was lying about her. Everything I've ever stated about Edwin has been based upon fact, receipt, and evidence. It hasn't been an emotional, oh my God, I don't have any receipts, but believe me, which is all he ever has. It's absolutely been based on the evidence and the receipts. She was well within her right to do this, and I will never understand why YouTube failed her in this moment.
16 of my videos have been demonetized and one had been age-gated.
So this is a, I guess you can call him a man if you want to, but this is a person sitting here crying because 16 videos about Seer and Dasha have been demonetized. They haven't been taken down because of a fraudulent takedown notice. His channel is in no threat of being removed from the platform. They've simply been demonetized. And this is the same person who will turn around and, despite my content being fair use, issue fraudulent takedown notices in the hopes of having my channel removed from the platform so that I can no longer use my channel. And he will sit here and cry, not because he's had a takedown notice or a community guideline strike, but he's crying because 16 videos have been demonetized. They're still available to the public, but they've been demonetized.
Oh, this actually kind of broke me a little bit because...
So it broke him, but he has no problem using YouTube's bullshit feature to silence me because his feelings are hurt that I'm doing commentary on very real instances in which he's hurt people, lied about people, and been problematic. He does sound pathetic.
I just hear the line.
Right. But it's also performative because if he's viewed as a victim, he's being viewed favorably. Right. Like, how dumb do you have to be to believe this? Like, this is so fraudulent. It's him acting. It's his victim complex at work, but he's definitely over exaggerating the emotional aspect of it to really sell the idea that he's been victimized. Exactly. Oh yeah, he used to be obsessed with Shane Dawson.
It sounds like that type of shit.
You know, I could add you to the stream to do commentary, but kind of not cuss so much or be so insulting. Okay.
But I can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, we should do that tomorrow. A stream with you and me doing commentary on him.
Yeah, I can do it. I got a laptop now.
All right. So tomorrow I'll add you to the stream.
Okay.
It made me think that even though I thought it would be just false flagging or whatever, it made me think that maybe they actually do have power and they can take down my channel.
So why would he believe they have power? Because he knows that he's been lying. He knows that he fabricated that narrative. He knows that he did wrong. And that's the same reason he felt an overwhelming sense of shame during this time period, because he knew that he had done something that only the weak and the spineless do. He definitely took advantage of his best friend and definitely didn't respect the personal boundaries put in place, because he can't respect personal boundaries. Does anyone remember Sexual Cabin?
So I just want to make a video just to let people know what the fuck is happening and how they're trying to actively take down my channel and censor me just because I've exposed.
So he's sitting here and wanting to give the world the idea that they are actively attempting to censor him simply because he's exposed how abusive they are. Meanwhile, he created that entire story. He fabricated that entire story, and I've shown you the evidence to prove that. Now, what we have is him literally utilizing YouTube's faulty filing system to censor me to remove me from the platform simply because I am doing commentary on and exposing the ways in which he's been dishonest, the ways in which he has lied, simply because I'm doing commentary on and exposing his racism. That doesn't do good or well for his like online persona, right? Like, despite the fact that there's an overwhelming amount of people who dislike me for the fact that I'm doing commentary on him, there are still some people with common sense who can sit here and see what it is I'm saying and see the reality in what it is I'm saying. And that doesn't do him any good. So he would rather use the powers given to him by YouTube to remove my little channel, 7,000 subscribers, and I was only getting 1,000 views per video, and I was only getting 100 people at most in every live stream. I wasn't making money on what I was doing. I was doing it because it was wrong for what he did to Seer and Dasha. It was wrong to see him paraded as a hero for people who've been victimized and to hear him making jokes about rape. It's wrong on so many levels. And so that's why I chose to do the commentary I was doing. And he subsequently chose to use YouTube's system to take my channel from me. And he literally cried because the person he was hurting tried to use those same powers to stop what it was he was doing to them. But this was, of course, before YouTube changed their policy.
What this person has done to my girlfriend.
So oftentimes in watching these old videos, you'll hear him make the statement, they did this to my girlfriend. They did this to Mina. This is Mina's trauma. But if you pay attention, there are also times in which he tries to co-opt that trauma and he'll refer to it as being his. Meanwhile, there's no trauma there at all. It was fabricated. What really happened was ultimately they had to leave because they started sleeping with each other while she was in a relationship with another person that she consented to be in as an adult. And he had no respect for that relationship. And he violated that relationship and violated the trust of his friend. And that is why he chose to lie, to cover up his wrongdoing and to discredit these people before they could tell the world what really happened.
And I know it sounds like...
Yet again, he covers his face because there are no tears. There are no tears. I guarantee you he wrote a script for this video just like he did every other video. And I guarantee you in parentheses, it probably said gasp and fake cry.
I know it sounds like stupid and people will want to fucking judge that.
And you know, I just realized if we do see real tears, it's only because he's fearing the loss of his channel. He's fearing the loss of his finances. That's it. But he's perfectly fine in doing that to someone else. It's well known that I'm between jobs because people used my previous employment to harass me online in a very real way. I quit that job because of being discriminated against because I'm a gay person. I was tortured at that job. And then people online decided to contact these people who had been instrumental in my mental torture and use that against me online. I am definitely between jobs right now. And I was definitely relying on the little bit of change that I was making off of that YouTube channel. But now I don't even have that because of Edwin. Because he's too weak to deal with the fact that he has lied. He's too weak to deal with the fact that he's been dishonest. So it's not a problem that he's lied to thousands of people. It's not a problem that he's been racist. The problem is with the one doing commentary on it.
It's just YouTube or whatever, but I put so much time and effort into my videos, and it means so much to me, and it hurts so much that people want to silence me, man.
Keep in mind, so do you think you're the only person that YouTube is important to? Give me 1 second. This little piggy, he needs to go. Not me, I'll be right back. So I started YouTube in the hopes of having some kind of like, I don't know, modicum of success, maybe some type of small following that I could eventually be financially successful with, right? Like that wasn't the ultimate goal. It was definitely about having fun in the process and being true to my morals and my integrity and my sense of what is right and wrong. And definitely about doing commentary on people who have violated what is right and wrong. But I had hopes of somehow making a following and being successful, but of course that didn't happen. And perhaps it can't happen because of the fact that I give up very easily. And when my mental health is, you know, not at its best, I go a period of time without posting or uploading content. But I tried so hard to make it work, but it couldn't. And ultimately, a large part of why it didn't work was because I had been discredited by 7, 8 large content creators because they were friends with Edwin, lying to thousands of people saying that I was a stalker and that I was harassing him. Meanwhile, I was simply doing commentary on him in the same way that I've done commentary on everyone else. You know, YouTube isn't just important to Edwin. It's not. YouTube is important to a lot of people, but at the same time, it's important in a very realistic, real world way. Whereas Edwin predicates his entire being on his channel, right? Right. This is someone who obsessed over Shane Dawson and Onision in the very early years and wanted that fame. He wanted it. And now, of course, he's not going to let someone cancel him. And that is why you see him going after people who do commentary on him so viciously. And if you don't give in to the pressure he applies to you with his stands and his content creator stands like Nikki D and them, then he will utilize YouTube's faulty filing system to take your channel from you. I relied on that couple $100 every month. I definitely did. I did. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's get back to him crying because someone had some videos demonetized. The conversation we've been having on my channel has been one in which we've used actual evidence, actual receipts to prove that Edwin was lying about Seer and Dasha this entire time. Keep that in mind. Keep in mind, we've already spoken with Dasha, and she said that the reason she and Seer never made a response video is because Seer was adamant that he did not want to be Edwin's new paycheck. And you know, Edwin already had familiarity with Seer. He already knew that Seer was a very private person who wasn't relying on drama to sell a video. So he knew that he could make these wild ass claims and get away with it. And all he had to do was send his following after Seer and Dasha to discourage them from telling the truth. And that's exactly what he did. I have already shown you all the evidence that states that Edwin was absolutely harassing these people. He was fabricating evidence against these people to say they were guilty of a crime. He sat at his laptop and edited those images. He absolutely did. Meanwhile, those images were publicly available on Mina's Twitter account from when they were posted in 2016. And furthermore, imagine the give me 1 second. There was another clip, this clip, dealing with, and he was laughing and saying that she was a liar based on his psychology degree that has nothing to do with what she's feeling. Nothing to do with it. But while he was sitting there doing all of that in that live stream, in response to Shiloh stating I could demonetize those videos if I wanted to, and he would flip out, he absolutely flipped out.
And the other show was going on. I think Edwin is straight out for clout. I think you're straight out for clout. How about that?
Edwin is only about clout. He's only about his online career. And that is why we see him acting so desperately in an attempt not to have his past brought up. Keep in mind, this is someone who, in reacting to Shane Dawson's apology for racism, sat there and lied, stated he was unaware of it, lied, because he wants so badly to be, quote unquote, uncanceled. He will go so far as to lie. And if you do commentary on it, he will go so far as to use YouTube against you in the same way that he's used it against me. The same exact way. He won't think twice. Now, listen to this statement.
I guarantee that if I demonetize the videos he has about me in my story, he would flip. Because it isn't about justice or the story, or even him being butthurt about what I said to him. Here's the funny part, guys. It's not about justice or the story for you either.
So he's sitting there saying that about someone who lived the experience of the abuse they faced in Greg's home. And he's saying that because he feels as if he has more of a right to be here talking about Onision than the individual who lived it for several years. That's insane. And you still parade for this motherfucker.
vengeance. This is all about vengeance for Shiloh. She doesn't care about justice. She cares about fucking vengeance and fucking everyone over who gets in her way. And I can fucking say that with confidence. But I would love to hear her talk about how she could demonetize me. Like, why is she sending veiled threats about me to strangers? What the fuck is that? That sounds so fucking Onision-like. Like Onision literally fucking copyrights claims people to take their income. Is that what she's talking about? Or what?
So he's now issued 2 copyright takedown notices against my channel that have taken down 3 live streams. 1 more copyright takedown notice issued fraudulently because my content was fair use, and my channel is deleted, and I'm banned from YouTube based upon the fact that this individual felt that it would benefit him to issue fraudulent complaints. There's no legitimacy to those complaints. None whatsoever. But he has the ability to decide who gets to keep their channel and who doesn't.
I'm sorry, what? Can someone explain this to me? I'm looking at the chat again.
This is nothing more than a chance for us to identify his hypocrisy. When I received that copyright takedown notice issued by Onision in 2019, I fought that one as far as I could on YouTube. And he still rejected it. So I kept that copyright takedown notice for months before it fell off. YouTube apparently has updated their system, and now these copyright takedown notices don't stay on your channel as long as they did previously, and that's a good thing. But it doesn't matter because Edwin will continue. As long as you're doing commentary, wanting him to take accountability, and as long as he's too weak to do that, he will absolutely use YouTube's system against you. So I'm not comfortable in giving my personal information to Edwin. He's tried to pressure me into doing so with these fraudulent takedown notices. He also uploaded my interview with Dasha on his sock account, hoping that I would issue a takedown notice against him. And he's definitely litigious. He sued an ex-girlfriend who was guilty of nothing. He sued Seer and Dasha, who were guilty of nothing, who in fact he owed money to because they paid his rent for 3 months. He's such a litigious creep. And the fact that he has sympathy baited his audience to get out of my commentary and what it is I'm bringing to the light, he would definitely go so far as to issue some type of lawsuit or something against me because he has fraudulently claimed that my content, my commentary, is harassment. Meanwhile, all I have done is comment on publicly available materials that he had shared publicly online, that she shared publicly online. And I'm doing it on my own channels. That's it. That's all. But because he's such a weak person, and because he does sympathy bait with that victim complex he has to get out of the criticism, he would absolutely be litigious enough to file several different types of suits or whatever. And I can't afford that. I can't. So my only option was to pull my channel before he could issue the 3rd copyright takedown notice, hopefully, and just wait for them to fall off. That was my only option. Hypocrisy of this group of friends as a whole, right? Because they expect to be able to take to YouTube and Twitter and talk about various people, the various lies they've told, takedown note.
Him being butthurt about what I said to him. Here's the funny part, guys. It's not about justice or the story for you either. It's about vengeance. This is all about vengeance for Shiloh. She doesn't care about justice. She cares about fucking vengeance and fucking everyone over who gets in her way. And I can fucking say that with confidence. But I would love to hear her talk about how she could demonetize me. Like, why is she sending veiled threats about me to strangers? What the fuck is that? That sounds so fucking Onision-like. Like Onision literally fucking copyrights claims people to take their income. Is that what she's talking about? Or what? I'm sorry, what? Can someone explain this to me?
In my mind, Edwin is no better than Onision. Edwin has victimized 2 innocent people, and he's used his platform to hurt many others. And when he does his content, he's dishonest in his content, his pre-recorded videos as well. Because anytime he discusses a topic, he's made that topic personal to him. He has biases, he omits information, and he definitely picks and chooses what argument he's going to make. And it's definitely just like this big fraudulent mess, right? Like, he's no better than Greg. No better than Greg. And definitely not in the sense that Greg issues copyright takedown notices fraudulently, because definitely Edwin does that as well. Definitely. I keep losing my connection. Give me 1 second. So talking about Hello Leash specifically, I'm not entirely sure that the drama between her and Edwin is realistic or legitimate. Because when you go to her YouTube channel and you look at the people that she's following Edwin. Does that necessarily mean that they're, like, I don't know, fabricating drama to have something to discuss? No, like, she definitely could have just been following his channel, and she could definitely be someone who identifies the problems with him as well. But there's a reason to be skeptical. That's all I'm saying. I'm not making a decision one way or the other. And I don't even know, like, did she ever even say anything about him in the video? So 7 hours ago, she did Gabby Hanna, how not to handle a wellness check. So I don't know if she mentioned him in that or not, but she definitely has been talking a lot about Gabby Hanna. Give me 1 second. Oh, this is going to be a bit difficult. I'm going to have to switch between Google accounts, and I just lost my connection again. I keep losing my connection. 1 second, guys. So I just got news that apparently Hello Leash and Edwin have apologized to each other and they're now on good terms again. I don't understand that, because Hello Leash made some tweets that seemed to indicate that she could definitely see the issues with Edwin. And that's kind of very disappointing. So the tweets that were sent to me, I don't believe they were sent in the correct order. So we're just going to read them in the order they were sent to me. And while I'm on the other Google account, I won't be able to see the screen, so I won't know if I've lost connection. So Edwin had tweeted, "Damn, the girl that had the viral tweet lying about Gabby Hanna choosing Jesse's rapist over her best friend is now tweeting lies about me. How is that a lie? Gabby Hanna literally admitted to having conversations with this guy and being on friendly terms with this guy and his friends." Anyway, so damn, the girl that had the viral tweet lying about Gabby Hanna choosing Jesse's rapist over her best friend is now tweeting lies about me, and some real fucking gross lies too. Sheesh. I guarantee you they're not lies. I haven't checked, but I guarantee you they are not lies. So I used to really like Edward's generation, LOL. He's mocking the fact that this girl had apparently typed Edward instead of Edwin. But in my personal humble opinion, they're both really shitty names and they're both really ugly names. Sorry about it. Why? Why are you in here? So he also tweets, homegirl used to like Edward's generation. Who was Edward though? Probably your next alias. It was only a matter of time before someone came out the woodwork to concern troll me on Twitter. Now, it was very interesting to me to see him complain about being concern trolled when that's exactly what his stands do. His stands concern troll the hell out of the people who are doing commentary on him. They're very quick to concern troll, to pretend to be on like decent terms with you, and then to flip at a switch and be all insulting and crazy and erratic and just evil, you know? So definitely hypocritical to me, to say the least, when his Department of Homeboy Security is making the rounds concern trolling me. Like, baby, come on. I'm actually surprised it took this long. But hey, maybe it's my gift for obtaining 1,000 followers. Happy 1 week back to me. He's so weak in my mind. So weak. And when you can sit there and say you're actually surprised it took this long, as if you're expecting someone to come at you, you're giving credence to what I said. And what I said was he has to live his whole life in fear of the next person who does commentary on him and his lies and problematic behavior, because he's been dishonest and he's been problematic. So he's always going to be searching for the next small creator who's doing content on him. But apparently this person had tweeted, that really did put such a bad taste in my mouth. Like, no matter how you twisted it, it was bad. And he made it so much worse from defending it. If he would have just owned up and said sorry, I think a lot more people would have been open to forgiving him and moving on. She tweets, so I used to really like Edward's generation, but apparently he was defending Gabby Hanna. Oh, and that was his response to it. I gotcha. He lost a bunch of my respect recently because he won't take the time to actually look into this situation before talking about it. He never looks into the things he wants to talk about, not in any realistic way. He'll look into it enough to pick and choose what he's going to state, you know, but he doesn't look into it long enough to have the factual like evidence of what is going on. He doesn't have to. His audience is so used to being spoon-fed his lies and manipulation that he honestly at this point doesn't have to ensure that he has the facts on any situation he chooses to discuss. He just doesn't. All he has to do is go live and lie, and they'll throw him money. In the same way that he lied about the Shane Dawson situation. And then somebody called him on it and was like, dude, this is a bad look. This could come back to bite you in the ass. This is a hot topic and you're doing it for money. And he literally doubled down and said, if anybody says I'm doing it for money, they're being malicious. This has hurt me. I respected Shane. Yeah, you did. So much so that you involved yourself in his racism. So look at my linked page tweets. I saw them, and just from what I've seen personally, I had a lot of respect for him before, but ouch, this is bad. Maybe they're talking about how Petty Page retweeted the screenshots of him being racist, and this is absolutely what would have caused him to lie and claim that he was 17 in those images when he was actually 19 and 20. And then look at this. I guess this is someone defending him. Dude, just stop. Life isn't all black and white. He called out Gabby on many things and did the same for other involved people. It's what is called being objective and unbiased, a foreign concept for some people, it seems. It's not about being objective or biased. It's about being just plain wrong. Edwin is not a nice person. He acts like he's better than everyone and deflects criticism by trying to make people look stupid for even trying to criticize him. He and his friends bullied a girl on stream while she was in chat begging him to stop, all because she lost it in a stream when she was talking to them about sexual assault, and the argument got extremely heated. She apologized for how she acted, but Edwin proceeded to continue straight up bullying her while his friends just sat there and laughed. There was also a stream where he was supposed to be talking with Ashley about Chris Hansen, and a few other commentary bros joined, and one of them brought their 15-year-old friend who kept saying problematic shit. Everyone in the chat was asking him to remove him, And Edwin basically yelled at and lectured his stream and told people to fuck off. And of course he would have done that because this is a 30-something-year-old man who is desperate for the approval of 15-year-olds and 20-year-olds because he's mentally deficient. Like, Edwin is literally emotionally stunted to where he is emotionally a teenager. And that is why he's so childish, he can't accept accountability. And that's where the victim complex comes into play. Because he can't accept accountability and someone has to accept the blame, he has to make himself a victim of the commentary, and then the person who's doing the commentary on what he's guilty of, they're the bad person. That's how the victim complex works. He basically yelled at and lectured his stream and told people to fuck off and stop telling him how to run his stream. And somehow a conversation about whether or not it's okay to use the R word, the ableist one, happened. It was a huge mess. And to this day, he and the other Goonies utilize that word, and they utilize Bo Blacks simply to greenlight their use of that word. That is the only reason Bo Blacks is ever in the streams. I promise you, it has nothing to do with his charming personality. So Hello Leesh tweeted this, and this is what really shocks me to hear, that apparently they made up and they're nice now and they're on good terms. She tweeted, guys, Edwin isn't shit and never has been. That's the truth. That is literally the truth. Edwin has nothing to back up anything he's ever said. Edwin's entire career has been built for him by someone that he later lied about and used as just, I don't know, another brick in the foundation for his career online. Edwin is such a disgusting human being. All he does is pander and still fucks it up half the time. That is the truth. In terms of the content he creates, he usually just regurgitates the popular public opinion, and there's very little inclusion of actual facts. But by God, if he doesn't leave Jesse and Deanna alone, I'll end his shit. So apparently he had tweeted, where are his tweets? I swear it's these Gabby Hanna detractors that are going to lead me to end up doing a full-on documentary featuring everyone involved, getting to the damn bottom of it. Okay, maybe not Jen Dent. So of course he would make this statement because he believes it's in his power to do a documentary with everyone involved, and that would just be another project that he would be doing to financially profit from it. What makes you think that a woman that you're actively trying to discredit is going to want to speak to you? She doesn't owe you her time. Oh, excuse the fuck out of me. Chummy with Prick Diorio, mocking the death of George Floyd, accusing D-Anime of lying, asking someone with DID to switch in front of him. That's not even the end of it, girl. That's not. You have missed out on so much, and I have all of the evidence you need if you wanted to do commentary on him. Send me what you've got. This fucker isn't getting away with this, and I could use a change of pace. So that was the statement she made that let people believe that she was going to be doing commentary on him, because she seemed to have this insight to the fact that he hasn't ever been shit. But of course, that's all changed now. But I don't understand. If you are someone who does commentary and you're aware of most of the things that Edwin has done, how could you excuse yourself for not doing commentary on him and then just going back to being on good terms with him? A lot of these large commentators are very much aware of what Edwin is guilty of, but they simply choose to ignore it because it's more beneficial for them to do so, because they could stand to lose their channel, and they stand to have to deal with Prick Diorio and Augie and Bo Blacks and all of their child stands. They don't want to deal with that. So yet again, this is someone letting Edwin off the hook. And that is so disappointing because he's guilty of so much that a larger content creator definitely needs to see. The irony is that this begs to be corrected so Gabby can thank him for forcing everyone to think about how Gabby DM'd Deanna. Pathetic idiots, both of them. The one person in this situation not an idiot is the person without a platform who asked for none of this. Edwin, your channel is 5 times mine, and you've been doing this for an ungodly number of years, and even I know to retweet someone without a platform that you know is going to send them hate is irresponsible and nasty. But what you're forgetting is Okay, I don't like the way she typed this because this lets him use the naive Edwin excuse, right? Oh, I didn't know. Bullshit, you didn't know. What Edwin does is use that large platform of his to his advantage. He knows that when he mentions someone, they're going to get hate. He knows when he mentions someone and makes himself a victim of that person, they're going to get that much more hate. He knows that. He uses that to his advantage. And I'm wondering if the pressure that he can apply to people is why you made up with him. Because if you know that he's guilty of all this shit and you fail to do commentary on it to bring that to the attention of people, then how could you say that you have any integrity as a content creator? Cut it the fuck out or get the fuck offline. This isn't it. Nick told me to. How this entirely undesirable and idiotic chode ever gained any kind of influence is beyond me. Well, I'll tell you how. Edwin is, well, emotionally stunted, like I said earlier. So he's trying his damnedest to appeal to Nick and other young boys who lack life experience. That's it. That's it. And through their interactions with Edwin, they are lended credibility that Edwin has in the eye of the public. And I don't know about that. I don't know why the public has chosen to deem him as being credible or legitimate, but they have. And unfortunately, he lends that credibility and legitimacy to these other disgusting people that he has on his live streams. Now, you can wonder why Nick Diorio has any influence over Edwin. Baby, truth be told, he has a very small amount of influence over Edwin insofar as Edwin wants to gain his approval, right? Everything else is just Edwin having another person to blame for his actions. That's it. It is so hot in this room. Thank you to the two people in my mention spreading misinformation. No, I'm not going to quote. Why can't I talk? Why can't I speak? Why is English so hard? Thank you to the two people in my mention spreading misinformation. No, I'm not going to quote tweet you like you think is the right thing to do, but we're done arguing. I don't usually do this on the first date, but I guess you can say you convinced me. Where are his other tweets? Because he had been making responses. Okay, so she said, I don't usually do this on the first date, but I guess you can say you convinced me. Because after she said, I will end his shit, he responded with, end my shit, mommy. So, okay, guys, Edwin isn't shit and never has been. All he does is pander and still fucks it up half the time. But by God, if he doesn't leave Jesse and Deanna alone, I'll end his shit. He said, end my shit, mommy. She said, I don't usually do this on the first date, but I guess you can say you convinced me. Then she listed all that shit that he's guilty of that she's aware of, but there's so much more, and it's so much worse than all of this. But yeah, apparently they made up anyway. And look at this dumb fuck. And he looks like he's like on meth in his thumbnail picture. Well, hey, I usually get a hello before the first date, but nice to meet you, LOL. So she had also tweeted, offline most of the day, but live premiere tonight. But in case I don't talk to you otherwise, just a note. If you need a fan base of rabid and mindless minions to do your fighting for you, you aren't shit. He's not shit, and that's what he uses the stands for. He calls them the Department of Homeboy Security. So this is now, I'm understanding it. This is why she made up with him, because of the little bit of pressure that was applied to her. I fight my own battles and play by the rules. Well, he doesn't. He utilizes his stands. He utilizes Nicholas Diorio, Augie RFC, Tipster, Ashley Lilly, Bo Blacks, and their stands to do the fighting for him. And he definitely doesn't play by the rules because fair use is a thing that exists. But if he has the need to get rid of your channel and to rob you of your channel, he will pay no mind to fair use. Fair use only applies to him when he's reacting to Gabby Hanna for 12 fucking hours. People want to tell me not to poke the bear that is Nick Diorio by talking about Edwin no less. But if all these people rely on the other to fight for them, well, guess who's already won? Exactly. They are so weak. So weak. It's so sad. I used to like him, but man, he's really shown his true self. Something always felt off about him with me. So that right there, this is the benefit of having a larger content creator speak about Edwin and the things that he's guilty of. Unfortunately, Hello Leesh doesn't seem to be educated on everything, and therefore she has since made up with Edwin, right? But you absolutely benefit from a larger content creator speaking about him and how you could be somewhat aware of what he's guilty of and just go back to being on good terms with him. I don't understand that, unless, of course, you simply made the decision to do that to keep out of the drama and the pressure that would have been applied to you. But if you want to be someone with integrity, if you want to be viewed as an honest source of information, when you know that someone's in the wrong and they've done some pretty horrible wrong things, you should absolutely speak about that person in the same way that you would speak about anyone else. Myself, because I only had such a small following, Edwin was able to label my commentary as being harassment and was able to sympathy bait his audience into automatically just standing against me, right? But because these people were already aware of her, they were able to listen to what it was he was saying and see the truth in it, right? So you would absolutely benefit from a larger content creator talking about Edwin and the various things that he's guilty of. But I guess that's out the window now. But another aspect of this situation is how I lost the connection. I don't even know how much of that you guys heard or saw because apparently I had lost my connection. But a whole other aspect to this situation is the fact that I was gone for, 24 hours, and he was already fighting with someone else. He had already made a public tweet about a very small person, and small meaning they didn't have a platform or a following. They were just a person with social media. He had already taken it upon himself to tweet about that person and sick his fans on that person because they were talking about him. That's how afraid he is of people having a negative perspective of him. So I was gone for 24 hours. That was it. And he's already fighting with another person online. This person didn't have a following, that D-anime person. They didn't have a following online. They weren't a content creator, but he took it upon himself to tweet about that person simply because that person had a negative perspective of him. That is how afraid he is for people to have a negative perspective of him, because if they do, chances are they'll dig into it and find out how he's been lying. Right. And he's going to have to continue living in that fear because he's been so thoroughly dishonest. And this won't be the last time he antagonizes someone or lies about someone or instigates problems with someone simply because they have a negative opinion of him. I mean, that's good, Blazy Susan. And I see that you state they just settled the argument over him bullying. Because he kept getting attacked, so he had to say sorry. I understand that. But at the same time, if Hello Leesh is aware of just a fraction of the shit that I'm aware of, she would absolutely do commentary on him, and I hope that she does. I hope that larger content creators eventually pick him up as a topic. It doesn't matter that he's been paraded as a hero by the public. The public hasn't done their due diligence and fact-checked him like we have. They just haven't. So I really hope what we're seeing is more and more people coming around to the fact that this is a very bad person. And I hope that the more people who do develop bad opinions or perspectives of him, the more people that will take it upon themselves to look into the various things he's guilty of. Absolutely. And I'm hoping that's what we're seeing now. I really am. No, he's not. Like, I even took it upon myself to watch his coverage of, what's that woman's name? The Melanie Martinez stuff. He omitted so much information simply because he had a connection to one of the people involved. But I really hope that Hello Leesh is educated on what he's guilty of and what he's used his platform to do to people. And I hope that she uses her large platform to speak against it. I really do, because at the end of the day, we're talking about someone potentially using their large platform to speak against a person creating sexually explicit content for minors. We're talking about someone using their large platform to speak out against racism, to speak out against someone lying and utilizing their victim complex and sympathy baiting to accuse two people of things that they're not guilty of. Like, and even much more than that. Like, he's guilty of so much at this point. It's hard to do one stream and to cram it all into one stream. There's just so much. Anyway, guys, this was a relatively short stream, but I think I'm going to go ahead and end it. I don't know that I said everything that I had wanted to say, but I said some of it. Have a good night, and thank you so much for being here, even though this is, you know, an entirely different channel that you guys aren't really used to, and the audience wasn't as large as it usually is, so I know the chat had to be a bit boring, and there's no telling how many times I lost connection when I wasn't looking at the screen and I was looking at something else. I just lost connection. One second, guys. Come on. So honestly, I had really hoped that Petty Page was going to be doing an in-depth video about Edwin, the various things he's guilty of, and the Goon Squad as well, because they're not innocent of being dishonest or various other things as well, you know? I had really hoped that a large content creator, Petty Page, was going to take it upon herself to do a video on their hypocrisies and the various other things they're guilty of, because they're guilty of some very serious things. But she didn't. So I'm really hoping that Hello Leesh does do commentary on Edwin. A larger content creator does need to pick it up. He's not in the right simply because that's how he frames these situations. You know, he is not in the right simply because that's how he frames these situations. I don't know if you guys can see me or hear me, but I'm ending the stream because this is frustrating. I hate losing my connection so much, and I don't know why it happens. Good night. So as I was saying, I had really hoped that Petty Page, being a larger content creator, was going to do a video in depth on the various things that Edwin is guilty of, as well as the Goon Squad, but she didn't. So I really hope that Hello Leash does, because a larger content creator does need to talk about these things. Edwin isn't in the right simply because that's how he frames these incidents to the public. He does it that way because of his victim complex and because he genuinely cannot see where he needs to take responsibility. But larger people need to discuss this because he's definitely misusing his platform and he's definitely being problematic. Have a good night, guys. Sorry I kept losing my connection. Sorry this sucked.